Good morning, Tigers. Thursday, May 14th. Not much time left in the school year, but you're going to work on your Frankenfruit project today, and we'll jump back into the content for the Unit 6, specifically with the slow sheet on Friday. Today, you're going to join me on Zoom. There is a prize for you if you come and play a game or two with me. And then the rest of the period will be spent with you and your partner, if you have one, building the Frankenfruit project web page. There is a support video that you are watching currently that will be linked in the slide. For today, again, only about 10 minutes will be spent with me on Zoom, and then you're going to try and get at least 2 sections done, if not 3, and you'll understand what I mean by that. And if you're working together, I would imagine that most of the time the power of teaming is going to help you get more done. I'm not giving you an additional extension project because I really want you to focus on your Frankenfruits. So Frankenfruits is your website page that you've already added. You're going to start to design your fruit by choosing some traits. You can go back to Miss Bombardieri's Ed puzzle where she talks about traits that fruits have, and you're going to write instructions to the farmers for how they might raise this fruit, keeping in mind that you're the geneticist. So that means that you need to take into account all the work that you've learned and done this past week around genetics, the genotype, the phenotype, what the alleles mean, whether or not you are starting with a homozygous dominant trait or a homozygous recessive trait will be important to tell your farmers how to manage that as they grow it. And then you're also going to write a sales pitch to sell it either to a special market, maybe a teenage market. We talked about having a Sour Patch fruit, and also on this slide, the website resources at the bottom here around cuties, which are those cute little oranges that you guys have brought. They peel really easily because of a genetic alteration. The ugly fruit video that you watched, there's also such a thing as cotton candy grapes. But you're going to want to start to think about traits that help your fruit really pop to the average person or maybe a specific market. So tell us who it is that you're developing your ideas for. Do some research on the fruits that you want to combine. We talked about this yesterday in our Nearpod exercise about some of the details that you need to remember, but I'm going to go over them just in case you weren't able to join us. You're going to want to write an introduction for your fruit, and so try and have some pizzazz to it. When you write your introduction, you should have already done the research around the chromosomes. Yesterday, we talked about how counting chromosomes is important, how the apple tree has 34 chromosomes, the banana tree has 22 chromosomes. We're going to address that in the next slide, but also how complex your fruit is won't have to do with how many chromosomes you have. And I told you, just as I wanted to show you right now without my cursor bringing up that little menu, that at the bottom of this slide, you'll see that there's a list of all organisms by chromosome count there. So, can you have a banapple or an appleana tree formed from the DNA of an apple tree and a banana tree? Would be the pollen of the male plant being spread either with a Q-tip or you're shaking a little bit of pollen through like a spice shaker. They have like little things where they're really specific and less specific, but they want to make sure that they avoid any cross-contamination and end up with a hybrid that they're not looking for. Make sure that you know and explain how the chromosomes of your 2 fruit will combine and that you don't end up with a situation like we talked about yesterday where we have these leftover chromosomes hanging out in the nucleus. And many times animals that we discussed in Nearpod were the lab and the poodle mix, but also there's a whole bunch of animals that can combine in this initial mating, but then when they get down here, this is called the second generation mating, or this is the parental generation, and this is the offspring one, and the next generation would not be able to mate. And so sometimes the ability to perpetuate the species is lost right here. They may be able to have an offspring, but to continue the species, to allow them to mate, stops here. And there's a number of animals like that that have been man made or used selective breeding, which is the whole point of this. They use selective breeding to create a species that could no longer mate with other species. So, with that, let's talk about what you need to do. When you are looking at your traits for your organisms, and remember, this is a map of the genes and how traits are passed. Is their location on their gene going to match the other gene that they're matched, that you're trying to achieve? And this right here is the centromere of the chromosome. And this is where we'll talk more next week about mitosis and meiosis, how the chromosomes need to be able to line up. And part of it is that this right here is where they attach. And then this brings us to your checklist. Your checklist, when I said get through 2 or 3 sections today, if you're a pair, you want to have the name down. You want to describe what traits you're going for, introduce it with a paragraph or a sales pitch, who you're going to market it to, and then what are the instructions using sexual reproduction. This is where we talked about how the pollen of the male plant is put on the pistil of the female plant. And it, also, Miss Bombardieri specifically showed you an example of a grafting technique that is asexual reproduction, where you grow the root ball and then attach the tree that you want to grow on the root ball so that it doesn't take as long. You're going to want to do some research around your alleles that you're planning to put into your fruit, whether it's a dominant trait or a recessive trait, and how you might handle that. You had some practice with Punnett squares and percentages of genotype, and you could even explain how you might not end up in your first generation with 100% of the exact fruit you want. Graphics of the phenotype and genotype. I told you that you could draw, like you did yesterday, the fruit that would be made from the combination of 2 fruits using Google Drawing or on paper, and take a picture of it, insert it into your website. But then you want to do some research on those chromosomes, which we just reinforced today, but we talked about yesterday how the number of chromosomes of the parent fruits matters, whether or not it will produce offspring. And viable offspring means that they can actually have more offspring. Like the offspring themselves can mate and have more offspring. And then describe how traits would be passed down based on their location on the chromosomes. When we went over the mapping, that would be a good thing to talk about on your webpage as well. So if you have questions, as always, your teachers are available for you. I will see you on Zoom bright and early. Have a good day, Tigers.